Jawaballs!
Okay, so here it is complete. One thing that I'm not happy with right off the start is the bottom here of the feathers. On my eagle here, the pointed feathers don't really come off as well as I would like. So what I'm going to actually do is extend them over the edge and down the back of the Rhino. So I'm not too concerned about those. They'll just be a longer kind of eagle's tail. The biggest thing, I had to have it end there because I wanted the top of the eagle's wings to end here, right below the turret ports. So so there it is. I'm actually gonna probably put like I'm gonna put the traditional Warhammer skull in the middle in that circular area, and I'm probably gonna do some scroll work down the side, maybe like blood angels or something. I'm not sure what. So that's it. I got my image traced and silhouetted in black, and now I can work with it and go. And the rest of this process is going to be just a matter of me hand painting feathers. That should be fun. All right, well, more to come. All right, I'm not entirely convinced here that I'm happy with what I've done so far. I don't know if I'm going to stick with this gold or go to my usual gray feathers, gray and white. I don't know. What I'm going to do is continue painting these things, and see what happens from here. The worst comes to worst, I'll just paint over the silhouette again and go with gray and white. I left the circle on the inside for my skull. Now I'm trying to find a picture of the skull. GW has a very distinct, stylized skull that they use for Warhammer. I'm trying to find that picture. I can't find it. Anyway, more to come. Alright, well, here's what I just did. Sometimes it comes over me when I start painting and I just start going. And I get into a kind of a zone. And here's what happens as a result of that. I decided to go with painting the double-headed eagle. And with my little skull on the inside idea that I had initially come up with. And I gotta say, I'm pretty happy with it. I need to go back into the eagle now and bring out some of the shadows, like around the eagle's heads, especially on the right side there underneath that little highlight I did. I like the little shines. It reminds me of like those, like the airbrushing you would see on the side of those old 70s shag vans from you know, the late 70s. So there it is. I took a lot of pictures. Basically what I do when I paint my skulls is I paint black for the base, and then I lay out the shape of the skull, leaving the eyes and the nose black, and the rest I paint it all with scorched brown. And then I do successive layers, starting with the highlights of all the shades of brown. So I go from scorched brown to bestial brown to vermin brown to snake bite leather. Which one of those is darker? Yeah. Then I did some desert yellow. Then I did a little bit of bronze flesh. Then I did elf flesh. And then I did bleached bone. So I go from dark to light, painting less and less of each color, till finally bleached bone, I just barely got the edges here of the skull, where you see the brightest parts of the white, the bleached bone. The concept is that using light and dark, called contrast, light and dark, to push out the 3D shape. So a light color next to a dark color is going to make that lighter color appear closer to you in space. So looking at this guy, the wings and the skull, you can see that the lighter areas are next to nice and dark areas. If you look at the bridge of the eye here, right above that is a dark area to really push the eye forward, and the blackness of the eye itself. And you'll see me repeat that all over the skull. Down here, this dark pushes out that light. In here, right above the teeth, that pushes up the bottom of the skull here, where the teeth are attached to. That bright next to the dark. And even with the teeth themselves, the bright with the tip of the tooth next to the dark of the space between them. So if you're trying to figure out how to paint like this, think about contrast and think about lights and darks playing with each other and how they work together. So what I need to do now with this piece is to go back in and rework this tail. I'm not really happy with this area, and definitely the shading of all these feathers pales in comparison to what I did with the skull itself. So that's what I need to do now. So I did take pictures of each step instead of making video. I hate to try and stop and make video when I'm in a groove. So unfortunately I don't have any video of painting this skull. I can say that looking through the viewfinder, it's a lot brighter on camera than it is in life. The skull is a lot less yellow. Maybe it's the lighting too. It looks a lot more yellow on cam. So there it is. This is my my newest Blood Angels Rhino, inspired by this little sucker right here. Alright, well, hope you enjoy. I think I might go in and paint some red behind the skull. I have to decide. More to come.